Welcome, everyone, to the Play-In Preview Eastern Conference Edition. Welcome to the Puck Drops here. This is Peter Fivefoot, your host, of course. We will be going through the Eastern Conference as we go along, and now hosting one of the local teams by me, the New York Islanders, also against the Florida Panthers. Their last playoff meeting since the Islanders won against Florida in 2016, an epic game winner, Game 6 in double overtime by John Tavares, who is now with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But let's leave the past in the past. So New York and Florida, I'll be predicting this as we go along. And Florida is a team that completely retooled their roster, and their organization still had Dave Talon, but they retooled everything else in the 2019 offseason. They were able to get the face of their franchise in goal in Sergei Bobrovsky. They drafted some prospects that they think will be their future. Montembeault became the real-life backup, the true backup. They got a Stanley Cup finalist defenseman in Noel Acciari from the Boston Bruins, and able to shore up their offense, and also ended up trading Vincent Trocheck to the Carolina Panthers and getting a little bit deeper and a little bit smaller, as well as some other additions they made later on in the offseason. Florida wanted to get to be a deeper team and a more consistent team. Brett Connolly, also one of the free agents they got from the Washington Capitals, another player who's played extensively in the Stanley Cup final, and also adding Anton Strawman, the defenseman from the Tampa Bay Lightning, who has also been in multiple Stanley Cup finals. Experience was the big thing, and it was shown when they signed coach Joel Quenneville, who won 3 Stanley Cups with the Chicago Blackhawks and had some playoff experience as an assistant with the Colorado Avalanche and as a head coach in the 1990s with the St. Louis Blues. Guy who coached Brett Hull and also some other Hall of Fame players that they had, like Turek and such and such. We'll go on and on. Anyway, though, the modern Florida Panthers, as I did say past in the past, really got red hot early on. They had some issues going down the stretch with consistency and chemistry, but they will gain more of that as the season and the playoffs go on. If they don't win the Stanley Cup, the chemistry is only going to get better and better next year and the years after. Obviously, the guy that they look for, personally, I think he's a little overrated, but boy, can he shoot the puck. And that's Jonathan Huberdeau. 69 games played, 23 goals for him, 55 assists, and a 78-point season for Hubie-Dooby-Doo, as they call him down in Sunrise. A really good player, a shorter player, and then one of the better players in the National Hockey League, who had a down year, but still had a good one, with 62 points, 66 games played, 20 goals scored, 42 assists for Sasha Alexander Barkov. A big forward, he can jam the net, he can slap the puck, he can do all of those things. He's a really big body, and he can hit as well as poke the puck away. So there are all of those things combined. Mike Hoffman, of course, a shooter. Evgeny Dadonov, Keith Yandel. This team likes to shoot the puck, shoot it hard, and shoot it fast. And boy, are they good at that. Of course, they're solid in the goaltending level, which we'll talk about a little later, with backup Sam Montembeault and the starter, former Philadelphia Flyer and Columbus Blue Jacket, Sergei Bobrovsky. Also the starter for Team Russia. On the other side, the New York Islanders, this is a team that swept the Pittsburgh Penguins last year, a very hard thing to do. And also, even though they were swept, gave Carolina a tough little series. It wasn't easy for Carolina to sweep the Islanders. And if the Islanders had won that shutout by Robin Lehner last year in overtime, it might have been a different story. But again, to the modern Islanders, they're still stacked on offense. They were one of the best teams early on in the year as well, kind of slacked off. But the chemistry is there, the speed is there, and with Barry Trotz, they can roll 4 lines, which is what Florida can do. The 4th line is going to decide the series. It's going to absolutely decide this series, no question. And also, I forgot to mention, in each series, what is the series going to come down to? For the last series that I did, which I didn't mention, Montreal and Pittsburgh, to me it's goaltending. For this, it's going to be the fourth line. And the Islanders have a really good one. You talk about Cizikas. There are small players that can fly. Islanders, one of the fastest teams in the National Hockey League, of course. Josh Bailey comes off with a 43-point year, which isn't great for him, but he can slide through many lines. Brock Nelson, similar story. And the leading point getter for the Islanders, of course, is Matt Barzal with a 60-point season. The points have not been there for the Islanders, but the chances have absolutely been there. And Semyon Varlamov has fit like a glove, completely through a knife, through hot butter, into this entire Islander organization. He's been a stellar goaltender. They still have got Tomas Greiss, and Ilya Sorokin looks like he's ready, either later in this year if there are injuries, or next year definitely Sorokin could go through. Beauvillier again, and obviously this defense, the future of the defense, although they do have Johnny Boychuk, another Stanley Cup champion, it's Taves. It's certainly Devon Taves is the future of this Islander defense. So let's get into the positions and the edges that are had by both of the teams. Then we'll go to when and who will win. For the center position, as chemistry laden and as good as the Islanders are, the talent, you think about Alexander Barkov, and even Huberdeau can slip into the center position. The Florida Panthers are just too talented at the center spot for the New York Islanders to do anything to them. On the left wing, again, Huberdeau, the talent, he can slip there. There's guys that can shoot all over. They understand defensively where they have to go. Boy, it's a really talented team on the left wing for the Florida Panthers, For the right wing, though, you think about Brock Nelson, Beauvillier can slip there. The Islanders definitely, most assuredly, gain the advantage on the right wing. On left defense, back to the Islanders. Stroman's a good defenseman, but Taves is the left guy. Boychuk can slip there as well. Clearly, that spot is owned and overwhelmed by the New York Islanders. In the right defensive spot, though, you think about Aaron Ekblad. You think about the fact that the second, third defenseman line of the New York Islanders can be exploited by the defense, Keith Yandle as well, and the Florida forwards. Clearly, the advantage goes to Florida. This is a tough one. Bobrovsky's been elite, and he showed it last year, especially in the first round against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the President's Trophy champions, when he was a Columbus Blue Jacket, and against the Boston Bruins in the second round. One of the best players all playoff long, even though he didn't even get to the conference finals. But because of the chemistry, with Mitch Korn, one of the best coaches in all of sports, as a goaltending coach who coached Dominik Hasek, he coached Pekka Rinne and Tomas Vokoun in Nashville, also Braden Holtby, so many goalies. Dan Ellis, he knew how to coach, and he was able to brood them so well and teach them things, even if they were in their 40s, of how to play goaltending the right way. He will get Varlamov to the elite level that he used to play with when he was a Washington Capital, and the Islanders definitely have the goaltending advantage just because of the way their goaltenders play, not specifically who their goaltender is. They don't need the marquee names. And coaching, these are two of the most legendary coaches of all time. Joel Quenneville is the third winningest Canadian coach of all time, behind, of course, Barry Trotz, who he's going up against. Both those guys only trail one person, and that man is Scotty Bowman, the greatest coach of all time in the National Hockey League. But because of the chemistry and because of the fact he's been there longer with this organization, Barry Trotz gets the edge over Joel Quenneville, even though Quenneville has him in the Cups department on edge. Well, let's go to the schedule now and take a look. The Islanders play Florida in Toronto on August the 1st, when most of the teams are starting. Islanders and Panthers. The New York Islanders will win 2-1, not in overtime, over the Florida Panthers. Also, they will have a 2-0 lead at some point. The game-winning goal scored there by Anthony Beauvillier. The Florida Panthers on the 4th of August will strike back and win. Jonathan Huberdeau 3-1. He gets the game-winning goal after trailing 1-0. The Panthers in Game 3 will win with the game-winning goal there, scored by Keith Yandle on a point shot that had eyes. The final score will be 4-2. The Islanders will tie it up in overtime, 3-2. Overtime game-winning goal scored by Brock Nelson, Mr. Overtime. And Game 5 will be decided. The Islanders will win 3-2, not in overtime. Game-winning goal, this one will be scored by Devon Taves, the defenseman. Another defenseman game-winning goal. So the Islanders will move on. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I really enjoyed making it. Tomorrow we will have Toronto and Columbus, the hometown Maple Leafs, against the Columbus Blue Jackets. No fans, of course, but we will decide who will win and who will not win. Move on. Tomorrow, I'm not sure when I'll record this, but I will record it at some point. Everyone have a great night, and happy hockey, everybody.